And we are back. Let's have a look. Please say in the Twitch chat whether or not we are dropping frames or not. I'm not too sure why it does that, but yeah, let's just get straight into it. We do have Pampasiras is the map being played. We have a Knusch Bear playing as the purple Japanese, soon to be another color, and then Mitoe answering with his teal Dutch. So very exciting game. This is the ESOC Premier League, MSDS versus the Hudson BIGS. And let's get straight into it. We do have the Japanese player already looking for those llama a little bit, as well as the Dutch. So again, both civilizations having an explorer and an envoy, and then two monks. So we should have a very relatively even distribution of llama right there for both players. This llama remaining neutral. I also do want to eat llamas at some point in my life. So again, we do have a 2-1 lead for Mitoe as of this point, and this is anyone's series to take. We have some nice close games, some very nice good games. Very, very pleasurable to cast this. So let's kind of get into it. More info has not yet showed up, so we will wait on that feature to make its appearance. Mitoe with the snare on the Japanese explorer, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about himself. Going to be working away. Knusch kind of just letting the monk tank some hits so that he can get his llama to safety, and after that he's going to just poof away. Very well played by him. Mitoe with the hunting dog start and a market start, so mirroring what Knusch did in the previous game. And then Knusch Bear with the Portuguese consulate right off the bat, so we should be seeing a shrine go down there for him at pretty quickly here. Yeah, just have to kind of wait for when that shrine goes down. So yeah, Dutch versus Japan, one of my another classic matchup. The legacy civilizations are not allowed in this tournament, so that has allowed for the legacy civilizations to really make an appearance. We do have an interesting deck here: 300 wood, no villagers, heavenly kami, and some irregulars in here as well. Not too many age 3 cards, so this is looking for. This to me looks like a very colonial Commerce Age oriented deck. We do have Knusch Bear coming up on this 75 wood, and I'm just going to alt-tab real quick and see how that lag's doing. From the looks of it, I don't see anything in the Twitch chat, so we'll call it good for now. Knusch Bear picking up this 75 wood, so obviously a wonderful treasure to pick up. He's going to be feeling quite good about himself. Let's head over to Mitoe's perspective. He has, of course, already clicked up to the next stage. And we'll be working on what appears to be some market upgrades. I don't know why. I'm not too sure what he's going to do with the coin that he has. Maybe buy wood? Little confused right now. I'm not up to date with the with Mitoe's playing of the Dutch civilizations. We'll keep an eye on that. Native scout being picked up. Let's head to Mitoe's deck and just have a look at what we're going on. A 1v1 no CM, very descriptive deck title, unlike Knusch. This is pretty much about as standard as you can get it. We do have both the bank cards in age 1 and no 8 Reuter, I think is the only big one. 700 food, 1000 food. Obviously for that Husser's tech switch, should he want it. But yeah. So yeah, and did indeed just buy himself that last 100 wood. So that's what he was doing with that. And we'll get his bank up. Probably more efficient, I guess, in villager seconds. And then the Dutch does have coin appear out of thin air, so they don't have to worry about depleting the mine. Let's head back over to Knusch and see what he's up to. yeah, just keeping that shipment. 2 stray llamas over here. Looks like just a shrine boom. Yeah, the Portuguese consulate, the Heavenly Kami, the Toshogu Shrine, with a single villager building it. So yeah, just gonna be a shrine boom out of Knusch Bear at this point. Knusch Bear's Japanese are of course excellent. So this should be a real treat to watch. Ooh, okay, that's pretty spicy. A barracks coming out of Mitoe immediately from the Quartermaster wood. Typically what you do see is a second bank. If you're playing this, the economy style. But here we do have the aggressive style coming out of Mitoe, so he's going to be throwing down a barracks. And turn on Fog of War. Let's have a look at what's going on. I'm not too sure, but I think that Mitoe has actually identified what's going on. He does know that Knusch Bear is going to go for a shrine boom. So just opening up with a few pikemen to curtail that boom. More info is finally here. So we do have Mitoe is now blue, and the Knusch Bear is now in the red, which seems to be a theme in this series, which is quite wonderful. Steel traps coming in, pikemen, a villager, a bank wagon, so some very standard play. Let's head back to Knusch. So, okay, that's kind of interesting. His shrines are actually set to coin. For the market upgrades, perhaps. Shrine booming is doing quite well for itself. We do not have any military buildings on the field just yet, and Knusch Bear is just getting a bunch of shrines all over the map. So both players going for kind of a greedy build, but Mitoe a little bit less so because he does have some pikemen out to really start working away at these shrines. Because Knusch Bear is going to be littering the map with these shrines and just get his shrine boom underway. So Mitoe is saying that he will be contesting that with his pikemen. Barracks coming down there for Knusch Bear. Mitoe getting some skirmishers out. Doubtlessly to kind of provide some cover for the pikemen. $600 wood being sent, so we had 3, 700, bank wagon, 600. No doubt that this is going to be a semi-FF. You know, Mitoe, I'm pretty sure, is going to be fighting this one out in the next stage. Only 3 banks for the time being. And a fair amount of vills on coin, I think, at this point. So he's not going to be able to afford, like, banks 4 and 5 just yet, or an age up. So, actually, I guess I kind of called that wrong. For the time being, he's really going to be turning up the heat here in the Commerce Age. That first shrine did go down, working on the second one. And then we have a lot of skirmishers on the field here for Knusch. But, I mean, does Knusch care? I don't think he does. He just lets those shrines go down. He kind of rebuilds them behind. Because Knusch is looking like he's just going to age. He's just going to go up to the next stage like naked. 600 wood, 600 coin. So doubtlessly for like a sort of a flaming arrow sort of timing, he is able to get the Basteros out of the consulate. And that will help him kind of give some pushback on the pressure just a little bit. But nothing crazy. He does click up to the next stage with the Golden Pavilion. Now some Yumi in queue. And this is it's pretty interesting. I guess Knusch Bear is kind of comfortable. He does not have a huge economy. He does have a shrine boom that he's really working on right now, but no villager shipments, right? Both these villager cards have not been sent. So he's only on 23 villagers as of right now. In Mitoe, a little bit of contention right here. The Basteros coming under fire from the skirmishers. I don't believe that a single skirmisher has died just yet. No, they have not. So thus far, this is looking like some military victories for Mitoe for sure. The Knusch Bear, whatever he's doing, He's not going to have too many villagers to work with, so if he really wants to get those resources in, he's going to have to really bank on those shrines, getting them up and keeping them up. So he's doing a really good job at rebuilding them. That's pretty good. Mitoe has, in the meantime, thrown up bank 4 and 5. My voice kind of breaks up a little bit there, so he'll be headed up to the next stage, pretty much unhindered and slowing down Neutral Bear as best he can. But of course, Knusch, he's at 170 pop. I mean, these shrines honestly get built faster than they are destroyed. Knusch is going to be feeling pretty comfortable about his shrine boom. His villager count, you know, not the best, but whatever. He is going to have some very strong units to work with here in the Third Age. Yeah, he's well off. He's fine. The real question is, what is the composition that we see out of Knusch? What is, you know, what is his bread and butter going to be? Some Yumi, for sure, and then some Nagi also being shipped as well. So he's going to have to build the stables and get the disciplined upgrade on them. Here momentarily, he does end his alliance with the Portuguese, doubtlessly to head over to the Japanese alliance. Yeah, see, this is looking pretty good for Mitoe. Mitoe's already up to the next stage. I almost missed it just because of that fast stage politician jumping you up to the next stage almost immediately. I mean, at this point, like, Mitoe's going to have, you know, his wonderful units to work with, the skirmishers, the Reuters, and the Hussar, and they're going to be upgraded. You know, you'd have the cav combat as well as the infantry combat to work with. He sent himself 1,000 wood, so he's going to be able to get a lot of infrastructure up. And that's going to give him a really large, massive units here. Not immediately, but okay, this is actually really big. This is big. Those pikemen are completely out of position. These skirmishers are out of position as well. One pikeman going to do its best to defend the skirmishers, but that's not enough. That is Mitoe caught really out of position with his pants down. Those Naginata are just going to go to town. And how many skirmishers dead? That's at least 5, probably more. I didn't really do the math. But that is a lot of dead skirmishers. Finally, these skirmishers catch up to the pikemen, but that's it's only 3 pikemen. Only 3 pikemen. This does get pushed away though. Just because of Mitoe's, you know, massive units, the Hussar joining the fray and whatnot. But that was a really good pickup for Knusch. Knusch, 10 Yamabushi. Did he send? Yeah, he sent intervention. That's pretty cool. So almost like a bow pike cav sort of composition. We have the Yumi and then the Yamabushi. Really down to the wire. Neutral Bear does have a good economy. His shrine boom is 200 pop right now. And so he's starting to acquire like a really significant massive unit. So we're going to have to see both of these economies just go head to head with both players just kind of microing. Oh, and then... Three stray llamas being picked up here for the Japanese player. This scout's giving Mitoe like a lot of information. Not currently, but has been able to spot a lot of the units around. Is going to get spotted by that monk, just as I point that out, so that's kind of funny. Ironic, if you will. But yeah, say the economies are about even at this point. The shrines versus the banks and whatnot. I think maybe the shrines are a little bit better. This is not recalculated population, unfortunately. But that is okay. And then, yeah, the militaries. We're starting to see a sizable advantage here for Mitoe. Of course, Neutral Bear just needs to get his next batch of units out and work from there. That is a lot of Hussar. That is a lot of Hussar. And then Once cavalry combat comes in, these Huss are going to be even more dangerous to deal with. So these are excellent cavalry units. Neutral Bear, just pumping out as many Yumi as he can. He has sent the Way of the Bow. That's going to give him some extra range to work with. But you know what? That's a lot of Hussar, and that's not a lot of... these clubmen are very good, but there's only 10 of them. So now Neutral Bear actually getting caught by those Hussar a little bit. He does kind of retreat like behind the trade post socket and then the trees and whatnot. But I mean, these Hussar don't care. There's so many of them. This is actually looking really dicey, I think, for Neutral Bear. Some pikemen getting gunned down there. But I mean, look at all these Hussar. It's going to be very difficult to deal with. Yumi are well known as excellent anti-cav in their own right, but perhaps not in this specific circumstance. And we do have cav combat active on these Hussars, so they're going to be even more difficult for Neutral Bear to deal with. That's a lot of units. That is a lot of units. That 1,000 wood out of Mitoe is kicking in, and really we see just the flood. The pure flood of Dutch units coming on the field now. That's so many Hussar. 10 more Hussar joining the fray. Right there. Oh, actually 9. But I mean 9 and 10, that's the same number in this sort of circumstance. So we do have these villagers being exposed as well right there. The Yumi just getting cleaned up, and that should just be GG. Some Yabusame coming out. You know, excellent units in their own right, but at this point, too little, too late. They're really going to get gunned down here by the skirmishers and whatnot. A little bit of a Monkrate over there that does not matter in the slightest. Finally, the Hussar do get cleaned up, but not until these 9 join the fray once more, and then all these villagers, they're just getting gunned down. We do have the GG coming out of Neutral Bear, so that is it. Mitoe takes game number 4 and does have a 3-1 lead on Neutral Bear. So at this point, no matter what, Mitoe does win the series. Neutral Bear does have the ability to bring it up to a 3-2 in the next game. And perhaps even out the score a little bit, but Mitoe is just doing just fantastically for himself. Nope, that's the wrong one. View the post game. Villager count. Neck and neck the entire game. Beautiful, beautiful game. You know, both players playing this very well. Military unit population. We do have that, you know, that timing from Mitoe. He started the fight. Let's start right here, if you will. 74 to 63, and then of course he had his own reinforcing batch of Hussar come in as well. I mean that was just beautiful, beautiful play from Mitoe. Did a fantastic job at preventing that shrine boom from really. Getting ahead. So very well played. Let's head straight into game number 5 and finish out this series. I am having a blast. You are watching ESOC Premier League Mitoe versus Neutral Bear. And here we have it. This is match point. This is game number 5. We actually have a Chinese mirror. Both players playing the Chinese civilization. Neutral Bear in the purple, I believe soon to be red color here in the southeast part of the map. And then Mitoe in the northwest. Playing China as well. This is game number 5. Let's switch this ticker over to China for both players. So it's kind of interesting because normally when you see a Chinese mirror, you're kind of expecting like a fast fortress versus a fast fortress. Mitoe is well known for showing us how to not play China, and thus maybe he'll mix it up a little bit in this game and instead opt for some H2 play, reminiscent to the Manchuria game that we just witnessed. So we'll have to see. Neutral Bear, I would be surprised if he didn't go for the fast fortress, but we will have to see. Either way, we know that this is balanced because we know that China will lose this game and that China will also win this game. Knusch Bear picking up a bear cub, who shall be named Pete. And then this villager is being picked up by Mitoe, so a little bit of a better one for Mitoe right there. Oh, Gentle Pete, I'm sorry. Yeah, you tell me which treasure you would rather gather, I think, at this point in the game. Still no. Cannot quite fire up the UI just yet, but we'll get that here soon. Oh, I don't have XP bars. Oh, that kind of sucks. Yeah, no, okay, let's just keep going. 80 food being found here by Knusch Bear. Let's turn on the Fog of War and kind of see what's going on here. Mitoe with the map hacks is immediately going to head over to this area where, not quite, where Knusch Bear is. Knusch Bear just picked up that 80 food, so he's feeling pretty good about himself. For the time being, though, I mirrored build both players with 2 villages. Though Knusch just came in a lot faster for some reason. Oh, okay, that's why. So 2 villages here for Knusch, and then 3 for Mitoe. He does have a forward village at this point, providing a forward shipping point. That's going to be quite good for him. So I do think that we will see. You know what? Maybe not. Maybe not. This is not the How Not to Play deck, though I could still see some H2 play coming out of this. Head over to the perspective of Knusch Bear. We do have Knusch Bear working on this treasure, and in the meantime, 1v1. So both players, I think, just having some fairly standard Chinese decks. I mean, you kind of saw what you wanted to see right there. Up to the next age is Knusch Bear, whereas Mitoe chopped out enough wood for a 3rd village, so it's not quite up just yet, but we'll doubtlessly click on up here shortly. Actually cutting a villager to get up faster. Three stray sheep in the middle of the map. Yeah, so this definitely looks like a fast fortress, I think, from Knusch. Most of this. Wait a second. Actually, that's a little strange. Just a lot of villagers on food and nothing on the other 2 resources. So that actually does stump me just a little bit. If he wants to age, he will have to mine at least an extra 250 coin to get up to the next stage. Maybe he's just finishing up his bison before mining. I could see that being the case, I suppose. So we'll keep an eye on that. Mitoe on the staging up. That does have a lot of villagers on wood, so yeah, he will be going for that classic, or Mitoe classic, which is the Old Han kind of H2 push, possibly into the next stage as like the Dutch game. So Mitoe is very well known for his Chinese play, so he's going to be quite familiar with the weaknesses and strengths of the civilization. I think I would give him an edge in this game just because it is a mirror in his favorite civilization. Mitoe, I'm sorry, not Mitoe. Okay, we have 700 wood being shipped here. From Knusch Bear, not the 700 coin. So are we going to see like a consulate and a war academy out of this? He's not chopping wood, so he's not really going to be able to get the wood he needs for Old Han. I guess maybe he could use the crates for that. But this is, yeah, I actually have a harder read on Knusch than I do Mitoe. Mitoe is up to the next stage, does have his Kyung pikeman being sent right now, and so this is pretty interesting. So does Mitoe even know? No, he does not. Mitoe does not really know what the specifics of Knusch Bear's strategy is, whereas Knusch Bear, well, Knusch Bear does know. See, he has the food to age too, so I'm really... Export coming in. No, coin coming in. The thing is, though, if he only gets, like... This has to be a consulate, right? No, it's a war academy. I don't know. I don't know about this build. I feel like he mixed it up. I feel like the 700 coin should have trumped the 700 wood, at least in the early parts of the game. He will have enough wood here for a batch, perhaps 2 of Old Hand, but that's not going to be 2 batches of Old Hand for Mitoe. Mitoe's going to have like a lot. And Mitoe's just kind of coming in blind here with his pikemen. I think Knusch is kind of in trouble, question mark? We do have that batch coming out right now. The coin is on... Well, let's think about this. He wants to get his War Academy and the Badge of Old Hand before going up to age. If this had been the 700 wood, then this batch of units would be highly delayed. My only qualm is that I don't know whether or not that these 6 units that are going to come out of the barracks are going to be enough to do much of anything. Though there is Gentle Pete in that mix as well, so that's going to be something. We do have Minutemen being called as well. And actually the Steppe Rider is kind of getting a little bit cleaned up here, I think. So that is 1 shipment that is completely forfeit from Mitoe. Mitoe might be able to get that village, but like at what cost? Knusch has opted to not quite hit at the next age. So he won't be clicking up immediately. And Mitoe just, well, he's actually doing kind of good for himself. Those Steppe Riders are actually connecting with the Choco Nu. There's a few blue units left here, and that village should go down. Finally forcing out the Choco Nu of Nuschelbear, but now that's a lot of red units on the field as well. Mitoe just kind of hightails it out of there, not going to insist any further, but now Knusch is at a point where he can get up to the next stage quite easily. Most interesting, Mitoe has now opted to go for the 8 Choco Nu as well as the standard army. So he's going to be committing to the second age, whereas Knusch is going up with the Confucian Academy. So he's going to have some arquebusiers out to kind of contend with all these. That's a lot of Choco Nu. That is a fair amount of Choco Nu. And I feel like this Choco Nu could probably deny the gathering of these back resources and maybe, you know, slow down the wonder as well. Nuschelbear having his own 8 Choco Nu on the way here. You know what? This looks pretty good for Knusch. Because as soon as he hits up to the next stage, he's going to have the arquebusiers, he's going to have shipments to work with. Unless, you know, Mitoe obviously does have a window in which he can do something right now, but I don't think that sieging down the Summer Palace is going to be enough to really, you know, accomplish much of anything. He does clean up a few units from Nuschelbear, actually, so that's actually very productive for Mitoe. Yeah, so you can perhaps just step forward a little bit and really go to work on these villagers. I guess he doesn't quite see them, but they are right there. He will, however, get the Wonder, which is going to be a large amount of experience. And he is trading. The Ming army, which is basically an anti-cavalry army, is also being trained by Mitoe at this point, so he's expecting like a batch of like, you know, 5 meteor hammers coming out. Confucian Academy has been completed. We do have the arquebusiers out. But that's like no units for Knusch, actually. So Mitoe is just like, okay, it's go time. I'm going to rush you down. I'm going to delete all of these, you know, ranged units. Of course, the 3 steppy riders, not quite enough staying power even against this fairly weak force of arquebusiers. So these will be gunned down a little bit, and now we do have Knusch sending the 5 meteor hammers. This is the shipment that is going to change, you know, wouldn't say the outcome, at the very least the direction of the game. We do have a couple of pikemen as well as keshiks on the field here. They do pop out of there. Not quite opting to engage fully. Actually, a lot of these units are still focused on the villager. I wonder if that was a mistake. Maybe not. Not a mistake. There were villagers in there that needed to be killed, so that's going to be quite a good pickup for Mitoe at this point. Mitoe is very good at aggressive play. Mitoe is excellent at identifying weaknesses, and I think he demonstrated that right there. You know, you have villagers in this village. I'm going to siege that down, and I'm going to take it out, and then I'm going to kill some villagers, and that will really be aggression that is going to pay off in a meaningful way in this game. Needs to kind of rally these units back just a little bit and regroup. Very intense game right now. Not often do you see H2 China competing against H3 China. Looking at the you know, these graphs up here, we do have, you know, a sizable advantage, I think, from Mitoe in both departments. But again, these military units from Knuschelbeer are of higher quality than the ones that Mitoe has at his disposal, and that's an entire army just wasted right there. 2 keshiks, 3 pikemen just being gunned down. So at this point, you know, look at all the wood that he has stacked up. These need to get to work hunting these really quickly, and he needs to get like a couple batches of units out like a stat, because this amount of floating wood is going to hurt him should Knuschelbeer decide to push out, which is looks like what he's doing. That's ambitious though, pushing out with so little units. He has no anti-cav, and it's not like Mitoe has any cavalry of his own to his name to speak of, but that's not too many units. And sieging, like, right next to a shipment point. Right next to, like, 2 barracks. This is very aggressive. This pikeman, if they get the snare on this army, I mean, that's kind of... yeah, look at this flank. I think Knuschelbeer... oh, but the Qingdao are going to do very well in this situation. The pikemen just have to get out of there. The Qingdao are very powerful units versus the pikemen. So many pikemen actually being caught out of position by the Qingdao, and now at this point, Knuschelbeer is kind of like, this is go time. The Chokonu need to do an excellent job at, you know, focusing down the Qingdao pikemen, but there's not enough anti-cav here from Mitoe, I think. That's a lot of cavalry from Knuschelbeer. Oh wow, and those Chokonu are just getting cleaned up. The Qingdao and the Meteor Hammers are just doing so well here. That was absolutely a fantastic engagement for Knuschelbeer right there. The Qingdao 100% really made that fight go in the favor of Knuschelbeer. And now Knusch is just in a very fantastic position. We might be seeing a 3-2. We'll have to see how this game kind of pans out, but look at this raid. These villagers are going to be forced into the village, and they're going to be idle for so long. Mitoe's going to lose a lot of infrastructure right now. He has... I mean, he doesn't even have the units to save these villagers from these cavalry, much less, you know, worry about this army. But, like, yeah, Mitoe's in a bind right now. It doesn't matter that you have more villagers if you don't have, you know, the ability to pool military units together to make an army out of it. So that fight in the middle was really just turned the game over on its head. Okay, so the villagers are making a run for it. These 3 leaving behind their compadres. This Meteor Hammer saying he's having none of it and he's going to try to get a snare on that one. Probably gets it. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot of dead villagers. Don't know what happened here, don't ask me. This is looking very good for Knusch. Mitoe is working to get up to the next stage, but like he's lost. He's just lost so much off the back of that fight. Knuschelbeer really capitalized off that win. But Mitoe will make it up to the next stage, and we'll have to see what he can make happen from this point on. But I mean, we have double-faced armor coming in, so these cavalry units are going to be even more difficult to kill for Mitoe. Perhaps Mitoe could have like a Manchu shipment ready upon age up, but that's too expensive for him. I would say. Now Flying Crow. So again, Knusch Bear putting his Confucian Academy up much earlier than Mitoe's. He's gonna have a Flying Crow to work with, if you will, whereas Mitoe will not. Looking very difficult for Mitoe, I think, at this point. Looking very difficult indeed for Mitoe. Another village going down. Fantastic raid coming out of here from Knusch Bear, identifying these, these dead hunts. Yeah. I mean, Knusch Bear is just happy right now. He's got his redcoats on the way. He has another, expeditionary company on the way. He's revenge killing the other Summer Palace. Knusch Bear, super duper happy with himself. In fact, I would not be surprised to see a resignation from Mitoe after perhaps the next fight or something. We do have some Chengdao in the way, some cavalry units. Ah, this is brutal. He's not even running the villagers away. Finally, let's dispatch some units to kind of contest this raid, but that was a lot of damage as it is already, and now this death ball of China cannot be dealt with at all. If you want to come back in a situation such as this one, you need your opponent to overextend. You need your opponent to make a mistake, to overcommit. You need to kind of take a trade that is favorable in a way that your opponent is blindsided. And I don't think Knusch is going to let that happen. He has a very nice, well-rounded out unit composition. He has the heavy infantry, the cavalry, he just has all the tools that he needs at his disposal. As long as he just plays it clean from here on out, he will be just fine. He has an economy, that's pumping out units. He has that Flying Crow just itself is going to do so much. Finally, the two armies meet, but one death ball is deathier than the other, and I definitely think that Knusch Bear is going to be picking up this win here in a few moments. This is the ESOC Premier League. Knusch Bear does pick up this game, and we do have the play all 5 ending in a 3-2 score in the favor of Mitoe. GG WAP is called by Mitoe, and the recorded game does end. So that was a fantastic series. This was very enjoyable games. These were very enjoyable games. I enjoyed every single one of them. The short ones, the long ones. Oh, look at that fight. Look at that fight for Mitoe. That's where he lost right there. He lost map control, he lost his ability to protect his villagers, he lost his military, he lost everything. He lost this game right there. Just a beautiful engagement from Knusch right there. And Knusch was under a lot of heat. I mean, just look at like what happened to him. But Knusch was, very good at like finding that perfect opportunity and seizing it and getting himself right back into that game and winning it from that point on. So very well played to Knusch. This was a fantastic series all around, so it was wonderful to see. That will be it